We don't do that here.
But the queen.
Oh,
Find
yeah,
some
jokes,
KOs.
jokes. Welcome back to the Ultimate Fucking Casual. My name is Leo, joined by the homie Nathan as always, and we've got a new pal here on the panel. Would you say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Isaac. Just trying something new here. You know, always been wanting to talk to the boys about some fights, any combat sports. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Nathan, how are you feeling about this new acquisition?
Feeling excited. We got a new era on our hands here.
The Chief era is over. The transition, we've completed the transition. I think we're gonna make a run for a title here.
Yeah, new rising prospect off of the Contender Series. And he's making his debut.
Hopefully not akin to Jamal Hill's run.
Yeah, one can only hope. We're looking for more than that.
Yeah. All right. I don't know if there's anything unrelated. Should this become Ultimate Fucking Cricket podcast? Because what I learned is that apparently we're good at cricket. We, America. This is news to me, but I'm very happy to hear.
I mean, we own cricket now.
Yeah.
Like cricket's, I guess, it's always been an American sport. Just for the record, I don't know of any other country that has done anything in cricket. I mean, only America's the country worth paying attention to there. So.
Yeah, I've heard there's actually multiple petitions out to like rename it to like just baseball. Just baseball.
Oh, I haven't heard that yet. That's good.
Would it be
conversation on Twitter? Would
it be like diet baseball or super baseball? I'm not really sure how cricket goes.
It's just rectangular baseball. But I don't know anything as well,
Yeah.
but I just know the bats are different.
Eat your fucking hearts out, India.
Yeah, they're celebrating.
All right. Speaking of eating hearts out, this is the eulogy. Cracking one, pouring one out for the homie, Deontay Wilder. It was good while it lasted. So many good memories. Remember when Dominic Brazil got hit so hard? They felt it down in Brazil.
I do remember that.
Yeah, Moro Ronaldo, you son of a bitch.
My favorite memory of Wilder was paying money to go watch his fight in a movie theater, and it was the second Fury fight. So just about the entire crowd was very upset.
Was it? It was Wilder, pro Wilder crowd.
Oh yeah, everyone was like, super pro Wilder.
Man.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite ones was in the Ortiz fight. It was just reminding everyone that we could be, Wilder could be 11 rounds down, 2 minutes into round 12, and he still has a chance. He's still a live dog to win. He can lay anyone out. Prime Wilder was a problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a real contender for perhaps the heaviest hitting boxer to ever live.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to mention. Was like he has legitimate all-time power. Not we're going cross sports here. Just all-time one-shot power. It's undeniable. There's this old head from Discord. His name was Dean. Maybe you remember him from the boxing subreddit. But anyway, he put it one way. We were chatting immediately after the Brazil fight, and he said he hits like a Mack truck. I don't think anyone's been comparable to this since young Foreman, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he ended his career with like a 97% KO rate, which, I mean, it's definitely up there all time.
And also just an example of just how power is just a genetic thing, because he's not built like any other boxer in this heavyweight division. Like everyone else is either super muscular or super fat, and he's, a string bean basically. I mean, he's ripped, but he's being outweighed by like 20, 30, 40 pounds. He was outweighed by Zhang by 70 pounds?
Almost 70.
Yeah, crazy.
And he's still able to generate enough power to knock these guys out.
Man.
Yeah, every fight I saw of Wilder's, like, just looking at his legs every time, I just think, where does this man get his power? Where does he get his power?
I was during the Fury trilogy. I was always thinking about the legs. Was Wilder, could you please, for the love of anything and everything, do some squats, man? Please. you need it. You can't have this big fucker laying on you for 12 rounds and expect to be able to handle it when you have nothing to hold it up with.
Yeah. Wilder was always one of those fighters, and then like it was showcased in like the Fury trilogy. If he gets hurt once, he's practically compromised for the whole fight. But he was still game. He was still game regardless of how many times he got hurt.
It was the ayahuasca thing, right? After the Fury trilogy, he went soul searching or whatever, and he went on an ayahuasca retreat. And he wasn't the same after that. All we had was Parker, or what? Did we have Hellenius? Then Parker.
We had Hellenius.
Yeah.
But Hellenius walked into the first punch that Wilder threw, which is why he won that fight.
Yeah, and seeing that replay, it's still crazy because like it wasn't even a full power shot. Like I know he walked into it, but even the way like how the angle of the punch landed,
he was in the middle of a step backwards.
Yeah, it was wild to see. I mean, Hellenius got laid out bad.
Was that the one where Wilder was like upset in the post-fight conference? Like, man, I could have really hurt him or something like that.
Yeah, I think he was tearing up. Like he was talking about, because I think he was Hellenius' friend, right?
Yeah, they'd been sparring partners for a long time.
Yeah, he was quite upset afterwards.
To add insult to injury of the whole thing, it's the fucking Chinese guy that beats the American heavyweight. God damn it. It couldn't. Do we have any? Who else does the U.S. have as far as like heavyweights go? What? Jared Anderson?
Jared Anderson.
Good Lord.
He's our only hope. He's getting a real fucking test up here coming up in August. He's got Martin Piccoli or something like that.
That's the dude that clowned on Tony Yoka, which that's not quite that much of an accomplishment, but I think he also took Takam, and he made easy work of Takam, if I recall. Like it was a big knockout in like the 4th or 5th or something. So yeah, Piccoli's he's not a slouch for sure. This is definitely a step up, and I don't think he's gonna pass the test. I really don't.
If he does, though, there's a potential for a lot of big fights at heavyweight now. Because, you obviously have Zhe Li Zhang, Daniel Dubois came off a big one as well. Heavyweight's sort of looking better, and I think that comes back to what we were saying about Wilder, that he sort of kept the division alive in the interim.
I think with the big three kind of winding down their careers, Usyk is not long for the sport either. Wow. Yeah, it's time for the next crop to take over, like Dubois, like you mentioned. Who's this? Babbage and Fischer, those two Euro bums, going to be doing stuff. Hrgovic. Who's Hrgovic fighting?
He just got beat by Dubois, so...
That's right. That's what I was... I was on the 5v5. That was on this card. What the fuck is wrong with me?
What do you guys make of the this is sort of a change of topic here, but do you guys buy the reports that Usyk might go back down to cruiserweight after the Fury rematch?
No. I don't.
Not really. I don't think so. I think retirement's probably more likely.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is like he has the two big paydays from AJ, the Saudi money with Fury here, and then he's going to get another one. It's who was it? Marvin Hagler. Like it's hard to get up at 4 a.m. to go running when you're in like silk sheets or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you got that big money. Maybe Usyk goes on an ayahuasca trip himself.
Yeah, he's got his bag.
Yeah, he does.
And I mean, he could retire. He could almost retire like now.
He could.
And
yeah, a lot of people. A lot of people want him to retire now because it's like what else? Like the legacy's already set. I think beating Fury again would be even that much more of a stamp on his career. But I mean, even if he didn't, like he is the best heavyweight of this generation
for sure.
You know, he's already in the all-time rankings, so it's like it really is just icing on the cake at this point.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if it was you, Nathan, or if it was on the B-sides where I was. I think it was with you. We were comparing or no, shit, it was with Drip on B-Sides, but I was comparing him to Holyfield. Like that level of technician and athleticism that can overcome a 70-pound differential with Tyson Fury and, you know, like however many inches of reach and height. It doesn't really matter. He has the tools and he has the IQ to adapt to anything. He's proven it multiple times already.
Yeah, I mean that was a story going into that fight. Was we know, like, all physical advantages aside, Usyk is the better boxer, but does he have the boxing abilities to overcome those physical disadvantages to Fury? That was really the question, and we got that answer quite definitively.
Man, so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. God damn it, Deontay. I thought he was going to be back. He was talking like he was going to be back. Let's say, for hypothetical, that Usyk beats Fury in the rematch, and Wilder had beaten Zhang. Would Usyk Wilder be in play? Would that be on the table as a possible fight?
Prior to the Zhang fight, that would have been the only other fight at heavyweight I would have wanted to see, because it would have been the full circle of from a couple of years ago when Usyk said before he made the move to heavyweight that he wanted to fight and beat all three of the guys. But like, I mean, it's so clear that Wilder is like toast, and I mean the skill difference, that would be like, you know, baby's first boxing match versus like, you know, it's this. If Wilder was still game and he could still, you know, throw power punches without abandon, then that was the only intrigue that fight could have, and it doesn't look like he's got that anymore. So
yeah, I mean, we saw signs of it in the Parker fight, that he was no longer even plateauing. It was a definite decay there.
Yeah,
but I mean, if he had starched Zhang, perhaps, but even then, I think, I mean, he's way past his prime. I mean, they try to promote it as, you know, Wilder. We're not even going to try to say that he's on the level of boxing skill as Usyk, but he's got power.
Right,
I mean, as
the
most
power
of his
threat's
fights.
always there.
Yeah, but yeah, now after seeing especially what happened with Zhang, it's time to hang him up. It's time.
Wilder and Ngannou.
Definitely not. I mean, like I said, I mean, just Wilder. He's been the second fight in a row. He's been knocked around the cage. Like,
yeah.
What's the?
Yeah, he's
again
coming
like,
up on 40 as well. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of mileage there.
Yeah, I mean, the Fury trilogy is really what finished him off, especially that third fight. That's his brain. I mean, there was some damage in that fight for sure.
And then the reports of him being a domestic abuser, not cool.
Yeah,
not a way to go out.
Yeah, they just sour taste for sure.
Any last words for the Bronze Bomber?
I guess just, at least for me, from my perspective, thank you for entertaining us for the years that he did.
Yeah, for sure.
We knew there was always a chance to see some type of highlight reel KO, and a lot of times he delivered. And he obviously gave us the trilogy with Fury, which was what I would contribute to revitalizing boxing, or heavyweight boxing. And I mean, it's just really tip my hat to his boxing career in specific.
Yeah, one of the only boxers that you, no matter what happened, you consistently could expect, you know, a highlight from it. So hats off to you, man.
And we'll leave it at that. Hats off, buddy. Best of luck. Whatever it is that's missing in your heart and soul, dude, I hope you find it.
Believe in yourself. Like I said, speak it, believe it, receive it. It shall be yours. I don't have to explain what's understood, man. You know we've been fighting 400 and still fighting to this day. To this day. To this day.
Deontay Wilder's career.
All right, moving on to MMA for realsies. UFC 302 on Saturday, June 1st at the Prudential Center. New Hampshire? What the fuck is wrong with me? New Jersey. This is in Newark. I'm really good at this. All right, let's start from the bottom. Stop me if there's anything that needs that we need to talk over. Randy Brown, unanimous decision over Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. That was a welterweight fight. Nico Price. Snooze D over Alex Morono. Very clearly out of shape. It's unfortunate. I thought the Beyblade Master was going to return. Gelton Almeida, rated 7th, submits Alexander Romanov, rated 13th in the first at heavyweight. Kevin Holland, 15th at middle, or that's his welterweight rank, right? Because he hops between the two, but he submits Mikhail Oleksichuk in the first, which pretty wild because Kevin Holland's not quite the submission.
I feel like we need to stop on this one at least for a little bit.
Yeah,
this was like a vintage Kevin Holland fight in that. Like, just something crazy just fucking happened.
Yeah.
and he won.
This is COVID Holland, Apex Holland.
Oh, bubble?
Yeah,
this is COVID bubble Holland, yeah. He's getting us a bunch of fights a year.
And this is, I think, why people like him is because he can adapt so well to different fights, or different styles, rather, that, you know, he's able to approach a fight a lot of different ways. And so you get stuff like this. It's like, okay, well, I didn't see that coming at all. But Holland's got, you know, he's well-rounded enough to where he's sort of a threat at any level of the sport.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I think in the last 3 fights of Holland that I've seen, he's won 2 of them by submission. And both times we were thinking, like, that's not Kevin Holland. But he keeps doing it. So yeah, I think Nathan, I think you got something there. Like there's more than meets the eye to him just because he puts on, you know, really high octane striking matches. Doesn't necessarily mean he can't be an octopus as well.
Yeah, I mean, just to touch on that slightly, like we always see him, and everyone that thinks about Kevin Holland, like we always think of him as this, like, you know, efficient striker. He's got long arms, tall. He's got power. He can definitely put your lights out. But like, even I find myself forgetting, and this was one of the fights that is just a reminder. Like, I think he has a black belt, right? And
yes, jiu-jitsu. He is a black belt.
And like, I mean, the way he got knocked down early on, like super early on, but just immediately went into the armbar.
Yeah. Like
just to have like the mental state to be able to grab on and just position himself. It was that was elite. That was elite.
Is it the state of the division that there's too much talent that he's at 15? You know,
he's fought killers. I mean, I feel like we need to look at his record. I mean, he's fought straight up killers in his last few fights.
Yeah, the division doesn't help him. There definitely is a lot of guys. I mean, like Michael Page is 13. I mean, that says it all. Right. But Holland's also, you know, we've also seen, despite his adaptability, we've seen his ceiling on what he can do, and he's not particularly great at any one area. And so, you know, we've seen him lose to specialists or guys that have an even more well-rounded game than him, or at least maybe a better pairing of skills. So he is sort of like, I mean, he even said it himself. He's the best gatekeeper the UFC's ever seen. He said that in his post-fight interview, and that's like, I mean,
yeah,
low-key true.
Yeah, I was actually going to say exactly that. Is he the gatekeeper, like, to the rankings? If you can't pass Holland, then you're not going to make it.
Yeah, that's about as like gatekeeper as it gets. And I mean, a lot of times like gatekeeper like might be associated with like negative thoughts, but he's still like a great fighter.
Right, he embraces it. He competes in 2 really competitive divisions. To be a gatekeeper in really competitive divisions, I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't know if... I don't think anybody else did, but I know that Kevin Holland did run down to say hello to Trump. He always does when Trump's at the fights. Sean Strickland...
I think everyone did tonight.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that at the end of it. So, like, Sean Strickland gets the quote-unquote split decision over Paulo Costa.
Yeah.
He mentioned, Trump, like, being mistreated and in his post-fight interview, and I was wondering if Dana and Donnie are buddies, big time. So, is there obviously having Trump come to the events? It's like I think they're referred to as unscheduled events, where you're not it's not a speaking engagement, so it's a form of publicity anyway. And I was wondering if does Dana put his thumb on the scale and have all of his guys all the winners go say hello?
I can't recall. Did Dustin make an appearance with Trump? I know, like you said, Strickland and Holland, and there were a few others too. But did Dustin go?
I know
Khabib from Khabib from Islam's side went over, but I can't recall if Dustin did.
I'm not sure if Dustin did. It's typically the winning side that was the one going over. I wouldn't put it past Dana to try and make that happen, but like with Strickland, he's a Trumper for sure. He sounds pretty genuine about it, and Trump's sort of he's got this mystique in the UFC, especially because he's one of the ones that helped it get off the ground, and so there is, even if people don't care for his politics, they still look at him as he's almost like this grandfather figure. This is one of the people that's the reason why we're here today is partially because of him, even if just a small way. And so there's a bit of respect.
Yeah, he's a plank holder or a facilitator, maybe, because he had the AC, the Atlantic City casinos that would host. Yeah, I see. Okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Why, pay homage to the Godfather a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless of the other shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see why Dana is at least good friends with him.
I suppose for a boxing parallel, be the Turkey al-Shaikhi guy.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, every boxer loves him because they're getting
massive,
really fat paychecks because of him.
Big bags.
Yeah, and maybe each one of them comes with one of Jamal Khashoggi's bones in it. Who knows? It's like a Happy Meal or like a Cracker Jack box. Who knows what you're gonna get? Sean Strickland beating Paulo Costa. This was absolutely one-sided. How in the fuck did somebody score that for Costa? And wasn't it four rounds?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, abysmal.
Yeah. Adelaide Bird.
Genuinely one of the worst cards I've ever seen in MMA.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now that I think on it.
Yeah, the judge that did that deserves all the criticism and more that he's been receiving.
Is it consistent? I'm not sure how MMA judges are. Like with boxing, you get the same ones all the time. Tim Cheatham, of course he's going to cheat. That's what he always does. Like Adelaide Bird was notorious. CJ Ross was notorious. Are there judges like that? Like you hear their name and you're like, oh, fuck, we're going to get something stupid here.
Yeah, and Dave Torelli is one of them. He actually had another bad card earlier in the night.
I remember them mentioning that on the broadcast.
I don't remember who. Oh, he was the Lima Raposo fight was the one he screwed up before. But yeah, Torelli's one of them. I can't remember. I think Adelaide Bird has actually judged UFC. Yeah, she scored MMA events, which is there's a really funny Joe Rogan clip.
She just went to do the same shit over there.
Yeah. There's a clip from some I don't know if it was Big John McCarthy. It was someone went up to her and asked her like a really technical like grappling question, and she just looked at them and just turned around and walked away.
Fantastic. I mean, you could probably. Her husband's a fucking referee, or he was, but you could probably ask her like a technical boxing question, and she would give you the same look.
I think it's curious as well because like in UFC, normally whenever you see like the weird scorecards, it's like, oh well, this judge values a lot of like grappling and wrestling,
sure,
clinch control. But in this fight, it was really like pretty clear who won, and there was none of these exchanges other than in the stand-up. So it was really confusing. I did not expect that. At least in this fight, I did not expect to hear a stray card like that. It was wild.
I think the only other bad one I can think of that stands out in memory was Grasso Shevchenko 2. That one guy who did a 10-8.
Oh, 10-8.
Yeah.
10-8, yeah. Don't know where that came from.
For a very, like, pretty swingish round. Not sure what he's watching, but there's some times where you can, like you mentioned, Isaac, with, like, some people favor this or that. You can ask, if you had the chance to talk to them, you can have them walk you through their decision-making. And even if you disagree with it, you can see that they came to it in a rational way. But man, what the fuck was this? I don't know if I want to.
Even the biggest Costa supporter out there is saying that's a terrible card, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way.
It doesn't do Costa any favors either, because he's going to get the hate for it, because he benefited from it. Like, it happens all the time in boxing anyway, where shitty judges give stupid scores, and the fighter that benefited from it, who probably had nothing to do with it, is the one who receives the majority of the backlash.
Yeah. And did you guys think like the fight was boring?
No.
Well?
I thought it was all right. It's a little slow.
I heard a lot of controversy. Yeah, it was a lot of technical striking, is what it was. Yeah. There were some good moments, especially in the last round. But I don't know. I mean, did you guys see that Costa said he was switching back to the old Costa, like looking to take heads off now?
He said that in the aftermath?
I don't know if it was I don't think it was like in interviews, but online he said that he's not going to be point fighting anymore. Like he's just going to go, I guess, come in swinging now.
So, I eagerly look forward to that day.
Yeah, next fight could be exciting. Yeah.
I don't know if my blood pressure can handle any more of this scoring talk. Main event. This will actually calm me down because it was pretty goddamn boring. Islam Makhachev submits Dustin Poirier in the 5th. The guillotine was not meant to be this time. It was a pretty. I'm going to get ahead of it now. That I'm calling this not entertaining, but in the ONE FC card, there was a legitimate submission grappling only. It's grappling only, and I found that entertaining. And I'm not sure how I arrived at this conclusion, but we're gonna get there.
Yeah, I felt like an ultra nerd because I was actually entertained by this fight, and so that probably says more about me than anything else. But I think the parts for me that was entertaining was just seeing, like, when you have a guy like Islam that's like almost too good for the sport, like he's got an area that's, he's got an area of the game where he seems unbeatable, or multiple. When you start to see guys like find little moments of success, and Dustin had he actually had a number of those. So even when Islam had the body triangle, Dustin did a really good job of just making sure that Islam couldn't generate any offense off his back. Like, he fought off all the submission attempts, he kept the ground and pound minimized, and then I think it was in the 4th round, he did a really, really good job of stuffing a bunch of takedowns, and then he actually got into a striking match with Islam, like where he wanted the fight, and actually landed a couple good shots. And so, I mean, that's really the only thing you can look for in these Islam fights, because his style is so airtight. He doesn't leave a lot of openings. And so any moment where I think that's why the Volkanovski fight, the first one, was so compelling, is because we'd never seen anyone successfully neutralize the wrestling until he did it. And he did it for basically 5 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more on that side. Like, I enjoyed this fight. I don't know if it was just because of the storyline leading into it and the fact that I like both of these fighters. But I think for both fan bases, this fight sort of went the best possible route. Because, like, we made it all the way into round 5. Like, there was no round 1 blowout, immediate submission that Islam picked up on Dustin. So it carried on to round 5. Dustin, like, showed some competitiveness, you know, in the striking, and then obviously with a takedown defense. And then Islam ended up getting a submission in round 5 after some action that we saw throughout the fight. So it was good to see that. And then they were both able to also showcase proficiency, I guess, in some of their deficits that I guess we as the fans would see every once in a while. It's like Islam, I've got some numbers here. Like, Islam outstruck Dustin in both significant strikes and total strikes. And then I think what was more impressive is that he landed at 66% success rate, which is 2 out of every 3 really punches good. Landing is good. Yeah, and then Dustin as well, he was able to defend 11 takedown attempts, and he kept Islam to like a 30% successful takedown rate, which, I mean, I think that's definitely a win for both of them. Dustin, we saw him improve his wrestling game, or his defensive wrestling game, and then Islam was able to show that, yes, he's a decent striker. He's able to hang. And then, like, while Dustin didn't get like the cherry to cap off his career, he left us with a like pretty decent last fight to his career. Maybe not the best, but he left us with a pretty decent fight. And I mean, he's just that guy. We're always gonna remember him as like that guy, if this was truly his last fight. And then for Islam as well, this like sort of opens the door for him to start getting in those greatest lightweight fighter conversations, and it leaves us like wanting these big fights with the likes of Sarukian, Holloway, and then, as he mentioned in the press conference afterward, maybe even Leon Edwards.
Yeah, he had talked about moving up. I remember that. Well, now I feel like an asshole for poo-pooing this fight when it was apparently a lot better than I gave it credit for. I'm trying to think. Did you guys pick up on this? Dustin had this thing where he would readjust his shorts a lot. And what he would do is he would kind of like, I don't know what he was doing, like he'd kind of lift them up a little bit higher up on his leg. And his hands would immediately go into a high guard. Or like he would shell up pretty much. And he would leave his legs open. And that's where a lot of the takedowns were happening. And I don't know, I'm not sure if he picked up on it, but he did get into defending the takedowns better. But I did notice that that it was just a bad habit, like just boxing parallel. Like Pacquiao used to have this thing where he would, anytime he threw a left, he would push his shorts down, like all the time. And maybe it's just him being him that nobody could really take advantage of it. But yeah, just something I noticed that Dustin was doing.
I definitely noticed that as well. Right. It was like a what do you call it?
Telegraph.
Well, it was like it almost, you know, if you watch baseball, you'll see the pitcher, he'll like grab the bill of his cap, and then he goes through a little routine and kind of resets himself before every pitch. It was almost like that.
Oh, like Dustin's trying to lock in or something like that.
Reset,
basically. Yeah.
All right. It was almost like that.
That makes sense.
I did see some clips though, like online, where like Islam was able to time the takedown almost like perfectly as his arms were like coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it may have happened. I couldn't say for certain, but like, is Islam the first fighter to sort of time those takedowns on him during these adjustments? Because I mean, it was perfect. Like it was perfect.
Yeah. I haven't
probably unless Khabib did it to him as well, but I can't remember.
Yeah, that would be the only other fight to look back to, I guess. Yeah.
I've never paid attention to his trunks before, because I never really stopped to look at it because I never saw him do this. So I don't know, but I haven't seen him fight very many times, so I can't say for certain. Man, oh man. So Dustin might be hanging it up. Islam might be moving up. Is that the end of this crop? This crop of the lightweights?
I think we're gonna have to wait to see what Justin Gaethje, I guess, maybe returns to, and then obviously we have a big fight as well. I guess that we'll talk about later as well.
Yeah. Technically, we've got the Conor Chandler winner might have something to say about that too. Even though they're fighting 170, they'll pop down to lightweight if they need to.
Yeah.
All right. So anything more?
I think we're seeing the yeah. I mean, I just probably just gonna end to say, like, I think we are nearing the end of these like old school lightweight guys, which honestly they've survived a long time with a bunch of killers in this division. So they're honestly top tier fighters, and we're gonna be talking about them for a long time.
Is this like a Four Kings kind of era?
Oh, not quite that.
Not that good?
Quite
okay.
that. At least in terms of like the elite talent. But I mean, this has been a very blessed time to watch this division for sure. I mean, it was even better when Conor was still active, because I mean, you know, all those same guys were here. Plus, they were better,
younger, more fresh. Yeah.
Always exciting fights, though. Always exciting fights.
Well then, moving along quickly, on the 13th, which is a Thursday, the PFL 2024 season continues. Just the headlines. Valentin Moldavsky is first currently in the rankings. He's fighting rated 7th Linton Bassel. Dakota Kicheva rated first. She's first in the rankings versus Chelsea Hackett, who's 7th. Kicheva's actually pretty entertaining, so if you have time, it's worth picking up. I'm just gonna skip the rest because RJ alert. Sumiko Inaba, you want to watch her for obvious reasons. Yeah, Saturday, June 15th, UFC Fight Night at the Apex. From the bottom up, stop me if you need to. Brady, is it high stand versus Garrett Armfield. These are bantamweights. Asu Almabayev versus Jose Johnson. It's a very interesting combination of names. These are flyweights. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Miles Johns. Bantamweights. Timmy Kuamba versus Lucas Almeida. Featherweights. Ikram Aliskerov versus Antonio Tricoli. Middleweights. And Alex Perez, 5th at flyweight versus, they called him the Japanese prodigy, Tatsuro Taira, who is currently rated 13th.
Yeah, I mean, this is prime. This is textbook Apex. I feel like there's a few good fights on here, but this is like textbook Apex.
Yeah,
like I think it might even in the prelims. I think Tagir, I think Ulanbekov, one of Khabib, or one of the Nurmagomedov camp boys.
The Dagestani.
Like he's also going to be on this card. But yeah, it's like maybe 2-3 fights on here that are, I guess, like that they stand out. Yeah, maybe.
Naturally, I will be watching all of them, but
there's a reason they are moving away from Apex events. Like, these are going to be a thing of the past pretty soon.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because like when the reason the fights haven't been so good, it's like, you know, you don't have a gate for any of these fights, right? And so how much money are you realistically going to make off of? Yeah,
I think they're just fulfilling like their ESPN obligations,
right?
With these cards, like they're just like whatever fighters.
Are they not doing that with the Contender Series or the Ultimate Fighter? It's the same shit, right? People are fighting.
Well, right, but instead of it being, when you have like bigger names and stuff, you can get, because like older fight night cards, you could have, like some of the really good fight night cards of the past, you could have had them as an actual, like, that could have been its own main event. That could have been its own numbered event.
I see. Right,
so like, Whitaker and Chimaev fighting, that's what like a UFC fight night card used to look like.
So like the on location, I call them fight night on location because they're not at the Apex. So those are the what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, they're supposed to be way more stacked, way more talent on them, and they can afford to do it because you get, they can sell out an arena doing that. So
yeah, I mean, like they almost like dug themselves in a hole with, and I think I don't know if it's still the after effects of UFC 300 or not, but like it's almost like they don't have enough like headline potential people, at least at the moment, because I'm not gonna lie, if the McGregor and Chandler fight, I guess we'll also discuss that later, but if that fight fell through, there is nothing that they could have put there. That like they have nothing that they could have put there. like nothing.
They could move.
They would have been
Edwards. Bilal,
yeah. We need a head. Let's pay 3K, 4K.
Yeah.
They would have been asking. They would have been asking Volkanovski to come back again.
Oh my lord!
Short notice. We'll give you Alex Pereira. You'll fight him.
Yeah, Volkanovski versus Pereira. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll be to use the old refrain. I will watch this shit so that you don't have to. I'll let you know which ones.
Sorry, go ahead and finish. I have a crazy little idea.
Yeah, it's I watch the shit so that you don't have to, and if there's something good, I'll let you know. I'll let you know to go. Even if you know the result already, just go watch it. It's good, entertaining.
Okay, so I have I don't know if we need to move this section to somewhere else. It's totally off topic. But did you guys see that Eddie Hall fight where he fought like two guys that were like 140 pounds?
Yes. That was actually more exciting than I thought it would be.
So this idea just popped into my head. Maybe Dana can pay me for it at some point. But what if we do that, but we do Alex Pereira versus Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway? How about we do that?
Man.
You can't tell me that wouldn't sell.
Yeah, I mean, we'd buy it or we'd watch it, but man, seeing the potential to see Volkanovski get laid out again.
Yeah, that's
also seeing like Holloway get laid out. That would we would watch with caution.
I'm envisioning them doing some kind of fusion dance to win the day, but I don't know.
Both grab a leg immediately.
Yeah.
Would you? Hold on. Let me make sure I have his name right. Would you rather fight two Pantoja-sized Alex Pereiras or one Pereira-sized Pantoja?
Does Pereira carry his power?
Yes, it's relative. Like so, if we'll say if it's a 10 out of 10, it'll scale down to his size.
Okay. And but Pantoja, if his power is scaling up to that weight.
Well, it would probably be like an exponential graph where it goes negative, like the greater it goes toward infinity. So you'd probably be okay
asymptotic, yeah.
Going into a black hole. Maybe Brandon Rival instead. I think he's the one who shouts West Side every time he fights. So that's fun.
Raw dog.
Well, I'm going to start calling it on the undies because it's fun. Or should it be in the undies? Either way. There's one guy on there. I have it linked here for you two. But if you can, out there in the listening sphere, Melquizael Costa. Look him up. Look at his fucking face. His haircut. He cuts his hair. Like he has... I don't know if it's like a dye on his skin or it's like a tattoo. But it's colored in such a way that his hair... And he cuts his hair so it looks like he has horns. Yeah. It looks fucking ridiculous.
His chest tattoo as well.
What's going on? What's going on with his stomach? He's got like a bear claw or something going on there.
On his like fighter picture, he's got like ladybug hair as well. It's like spotted with those like black spots with the red hair. It looks so weird.
That guy was a trip.
Unique,
what is
I
this
guess.
picture?
Yeah.
It looks like he has the thing that Michael Jackson had. Oh, I gotta put this in Discord.
The what's it called?
The bleaching?
Where your skin gets blotchy,
yeah,
and you have like patches of white.
Yeah, they mention it in the Boondocks. I always forget what it's called. Vitiligo. Vitiligo. Is it that one?
Yeah, vitiligo. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, is that it? I mean, because
I don't think so. I think he did this on purpose.
Yeah. I think at least the face. Yeah.
Yes, the face.
Yeah.
Body, maybe.
I'm not sure though.
Because it's ridiculous. Yeah. Milk Coffee is his nickname. I don't know what the fuck that means.
I don't know what that means. Yeah.
RJ alert. Julia Polastri. It's a 1-1 coming off of the Dana White Contender Series. So, if you are a gentleman of refined taste like RJ, you will enjoy that. All right. Another episode of Ultimate Fucking Casual is in the books. Oh, I want to hear from you. What do you think? 833-589-7637 about this episode. What do you think of Isaac? Was he good? Did you think he was good? Oh, maybe call and let me know. The number is 833-LUX-PODS. We can't go wrong. I spelled it out because I was going to forget, but now that just means that it's easier for you. LVX Media Net. That is the social media handle for everything, everywhere. If you cannot find it, we are not on it. Keep in mind, if you do check them out, you'll see there is more than just MMA or more than just boxing. There's a lot of other stuff that we do, so check out whatever. Speaking of all that other stuff, if you want to check out the other shows, luxmediashows.com. That's where you can see all of it. Right, so there's if you go to Patreon and you look us up there, LVX Media Net there, like everywhere else. What I do when we record this in one big session, right? And then I kind of chop it up to put the pieces together for certain release dates for certain events that are coming up, right? If you want to hear the whole thing, I won't say unedited because I do clean up, audio quality and stuff, but uncut, uncensored. It's raw audio. If you want to hear it that way, go check out Patreon. If you can get both boxing and MMA stuff in the one tier that's combined, or if you just want one or the other, there you go. But I'm going to stop rambling. We will be back later next week to discuss the Fight Night card that's coming up in Saudi Arabia. So we will see you then.